The following segment is sponsored by Verizon. A new report reveals that cybercrime continues to grow at an alarming rate, creating serious threats for businesses and consumers. Joining us today is cybersecurity expert Chris Novak, who is here to share some shocking information from Verizon's annual data breach investigation report. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thanks, Kaime. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I am all ears. What are the highlights of the report?
Yeah, this year's report is really a wake-up call for everybody. You know, it's interesting, the Data Breach Investigations Report is in its 18th year of publication, and this year's report covers over 22,000 incidents and over 12,000 data breaches spanning over 130 countries, really illustrating the fact that this cybersecurity problem is truly global in nature. Some of the key standouts that I'd highlight are things like third-party risk. The fact that threat actors aren't necessarily always coming right at your front door, but they may be coming through some third party or supply chain element. The other piece I'd also mention are the impacts on small and medium-sized businesses. It's been very outsized and oversized as it relates to things like ransomware. 88% of the attacks on small and medium businesses were ransomware attacks, which it might be the difference of whether or not they survive and continue to be an ongoing concern or not. So there's a lot to unpack there, but maybe one other that I'll give you is around personal device usage as well. We've seen a lot of organizations growing concern and seeing incidents related to people using personal devices for business reasons or using BYOD devices that may not be as secure as something that is corporate owned, and as a result, putting their business and their data at risk.
Wow, okay, well, speaking of businesses, how can small businesses be better prepared then?
The key there is education and awareness. You know, we want to make sure that organizations are doing everything possible to educate their people on what to look for. How do they spot a scam? How do they spot a phish? And then after they figure out how to spot it, who do they report it to? And then what are the actions thereafter? That's critically important. And then also making sure that you establish a culture and a DNA of security is everybody's responsibility. If we kind of delegate it to just the security or just the IT folks, there's just too many other people out there that ultimately we're going to miss the mark.
We could talk about this for hours, I think, but what are the most common threats?
Some of the most common threats are around phishing attacks, pre-texting. A variation on that is smishing. So you might have seen these where you get a text message that's got a link with a sense of urgency. There's a transaction on your account that you need to, report that you didn't make the transaction, or a package that's ready for you to pick up, but they just need to make sure that it's you. Usually something along those lines where there's a link associated with it. And then when you click on that link, it either installs malware on your system or it's trying to harvest your credentials, ultimately just to continue to further the exploitation of either you or your organization.
I think I got probably like 5 or 10 of those links this week, so I know exactly what you're talking about. This is so helpful for our viewers. Where can we go for more information?
The report itself is the best resource I can recommend. I encourage people to download it and read it. You can get it at verizon.com/DBIR, like Data Breach Investigations Report.
Well, thank you so much for spending time on our show. Chris, have a great day.
Thank you, Kaime. You too.
You bet.